14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Wesley House is partnering with KOAM for the Feed the Four States campaign, which of course we had that telethon yesterday. Our very own Amber Jenkins shares with us the efforts that the organization is making to feed our communities.
Plus, we'll hear the importance of one local food pantry that it has on our communities.
And we've got ourselves a cloudy and mild start to the day across the 4 states. We got temperatures returning to normal or very close to, and rain on the way. We'll talk about that in the forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 o'clock on this finally Friday here in the 4 states. We have all made it. If we've made it, you've made it. Now, of course, for some of us, especially our producers, their Friday, their day is almost done.
I know.
However, for a lot of you, you're either just starting, or for Caitlin and I, we're about halfway through the day,
yes, we are, Chris.
But all of us finally made it to Friday.
And you know what? Yesterday was a big day for us. We had the Feed the Four States telethon. It was great. We raised a lot of money to help those in need during this holiday season. And the Wesley House in Pittsburgh is actually partnering with our Feed the Four States campaign this holiday season.
KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to the manager of the Wesley House about the effort to feed the community.
We have noticed an increase throughout the entire year as food prices have increased, gas prices have increased. It's just put more of a strain on families, as well as the SNAP benefits being lessened after the pandemic.
The Wesley House Food Pantry assists 1 in 5 Crawford County residents. Despite being closed on holidays, the manager says the effort to feed the community this holiday season is a priority.
And we don't do any special Thanksgiving boxes or anything like that. We have had an increase in the people that have come to see us, just needing that extra food for the month.
The Wesley House does accept canned food for donations, but if you donate money, they know how to make a dollar stretch.
Because we can make your dollar go further by ordering from Kansas Food Bank.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
And just a reminder that your donations will help food pantries like the Wesley House feed those in need.
Of course, always an important effort to get out there and make sure that no one goes hungry, especially around the holiday season. But on all honesty, all year round, these food pantries definitely need your assistance.
Especially with inflation and how tight things have been.
Yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher. Inflation even hits here. We may be cheaper compared to some areas, but still, it can be tough to get by sometimes, so make sure you do what you can to help. And I'm going to try and help you have a slightly better, warmer day out there, because we're going to see eventually some sunshine. Now, right now, though, the Cornell Complex camera. Say that 3 times fast.
I can't.
That's what I thought. Downtown Joplin, showing us those cloudy skies as we get our Friday underway. Usually by now, we have it pointed a little further east toward the sunrise, but there's really no sunrise to see at this point. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line also showing us those cloudy skies. We've had a few random sprinkles here and there, but the Skywatch Storm Tracker, because the radar beam can't see the sprinkles, doesn't do us a lot of good. It's not going to show us where any of that activity is, unfortunately. So don't be surprised if you run into a brief sprinkle here or there. Maybe a light mist. All right, 57 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh, well above where we're supposed to be for this time of year. However, our temperature's not well above. In fact, thanks to the clouds and north breeze, our temperatures don't really move that much. Clouds will begin to clear. We go sunny by the afternoon, clear into the evening, but temperatures only low to mid 60s, so just a little bit above average out there. Got some big changes on the way, including some shower and thunderstorm chances this weekend. We'll look at all that in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A former Carthage city employee was out on bond last night facing charges of stealing and money laundering. Court documents filed yesterday in Jasper County Court revealed that Mark Peterson is accused of taking more than $142,000 from the Carthage golf course. An independent accounting firm completed a forensic audit into the missing money. Court documents state that the money should have been deposited into city bank accounts by Peterson, but no documentation was provided. Peterson, the former director of Carthage Parks and Recreation, resigned from the city in November of 2022. Records state that money was taken between January 2020 and December 2022. Just last month, he was awarded the PGA Golf Professional of the Year from the Midwest PGA chapter. A West Mineral, Kansas woman is dead after a 3-vehicle crash on State Highway 7 yesterday morning. It happened just before 4 Thursday morning, a quarter of a mile north of the intersection of Highway 7 and 530 Avenue north of Cherokee. Authorities say a truck towing a camper crossed the center lane and hit an SUV head-on. Shortly thereafter, that SUV in the middle of the highway was hit by a semi. The driver of the SUV, 66-year-old Melinda Burbage, was killed. The driver and passenger of the truck were both airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries, and the driver of the semi was not hurt. When Joplin police investigated a report of gunshots Wednesday night, they found a suspect passed out in a car. Police received a report that a person had fired a gun near 14th and Jackson and got a vehicle description. A few hours later, police noticed what appeared to be the car in a parking lot on the corner of 17th and South Main. Officers surrounded the car and used a bullhorn to demand the occupants get out. After some time, one person did. Then officers approached the car and found 2 other people passed out inside. Police tell us it appeared all 3 were under the influence. Police arrested 1 male for unlawful use of a weapon related to the gunfire earlier on South Jackson. And Feed the 4 States also works with Crossline's food pantry in Joplin. They've been helping the hungry in the Joplin, Webb City, and Carl Junction communities for the last 40 years. That means a lot of families.
Yeah, a lot more families. I mean, just with the inflation that we've all dealt with this last year, the more people you have in your household, in many ways, the more you're impacted by the rising cost of food and items this holiday season.
And it's not just Southwest Missouri that benefits. Up next, you can get inspiration anywhere, but it can be challenging to inspire someone else. We will see how one mother is challenging herself to inspire her son. And later, Anthony Salviello shares how a veteran moved to the 4 states after receiving a mortgage-free home. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
6 North Broadway in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Happy holidays from all of us at Healing Hands, Caring Hearts.
In Health Watch this morning, a new study shows children whose mothers have high levels of psychological stress during pregnancy are more likely to have mental health and behavioral issues later in life. The study from the American Psychological Association links mothers who are highly stressed, anxious, or depressed during pregnancy to children that have noticeable aggressive or impulsive behaviors in their teen years. The report cites problems like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Researchers caution stress or depression during a mother's pregnancy is only one among many influences that affect a child's development. Still, the findings are in line with theories that suggest some exposure to stress hormones in utero can impact children's brain development. The study involved 45,000 participants. And measles deaths are surging worldwide, mainly due to a wave of infections among unvaccinated children. The CDC says deaths from measles increased by 43% globally in 2022 compared to the year before, and there is an 18% uptick in measles cases overall. The estimated number of cases stands at 9 million for 2022, with the number of deaths totaling 136,000, mostly children. The CDC says low vaccination rates among children during the first 2 years of the pandemic is the main reason for the surge, and that measles is preventable through a 2-dose vaccination. Low-income countries have the lowest vaccination rates and are also where the risk of death from measles is the highest. A mother in Arizona is competing in a triathlon to inspire her young son who's losing his vision. Fox's Irene Snyder reports.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Christina Johnston has been training for a long time.
We swim, bike, and run a total of 140.6 miles. We will swim 2.4 miles in the frigid waters.
That's all for Ironman this weekend at Tempe Town Lake.
It's pretty incredible how Ironman training has sort of transformed my mindset and my ability to overcome difficult things, cope with diagnosis, and proceed forward in a positive way.
For her, it's more than just a triathlon. It's a way of showing her 10-year-old son, Luke, that he can do hard things too.
I was in a place in my life where I felt as though I needed a challenge, something to overcome. And lo and behold, not too long after I started my Ironman training, we learned about Luke's diagnosis.
Luke was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, a rare genetic condition that causes people to lose their eyesight, usually by the time they're in their teens.
He's a tough kid, and we have done our best to take the ups and downs of all of it and just handle it as a family.
Ironman is just one of the many ways Luke's parents are supporting and encouraging him.
Being that role model and being that example is really important.
They also started a foundation called A Race Against Blindness and are raising money for a cure, helping to fund a clinical trial.
We now have a therapy, a place where the trial is going to happen, and really the big thing now is fundraising. For rare diseases like this, fundraising is the big hurdle.
Luke already has his cowbell ready to cheer on his mom Sunday. He says he's inspired, knowing that anything is possible.
Really, really good. And like any age, if you just keep trying, you can accomplish it.
Irene Snyder, Fox 10 News.
All right, good luck on that and praying for Luke. Well, now let's take it over to Chris for a look at your weather.
Yeah, we've got a cloudy but mild start to the day thanks to those clouds overnight. We're sitting in the mid to upper 50s for most of us across the area, a little cooler to the northwest. We do have some rain on the way. We're going to talk about that in the full forecast when we come back. And college administrators, they've got growing concerns for the safety of their students due to the war in Israel. We'll hear how one college is taking steps to ensure student safety.
It's our 2 biggest sales in one. At Johnson Warren Homes, 4 days of sale.
Paper and pad on every carpet.
Plus, through Sunday, BOGO on every hard surface.
And 0 interest for 1 year.
For 4 days only at Johnson Flooring.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Friday morning. It is a dreary looking Friday, but it is mild out there. We've got the cloudy skies sitting at 57 in Joplin, north breeze at 6. So we're now on the backside of that boundary. Wind has shifted out of the north out there, and you can see the boundary with the wind arrows, and you can see where some of the cooler areas, 42 Yates Center, Iola, 47 Chanute, 48 Fort Scott, and then they're still mild off to the south and east, 55 Chatopa, 58 Miami, and 57's Carthage, Neosho, and Anderson. We got our morning underway. The clouds will continue to clear out there progressively, but because we hold on to them for so long and we have that boundary passing through, temperatures don't really move much. Now, we'll eventually go a little above average today as we go in the low to mid 60s, maybe a couple of upper 60s out there, decreasing clouds, and that allows us to have sunny skies. Then, as we go into the evening with clear skies and no cloud cover, that allows us to fall back to normal, but it's going to feel cold compared to where we've been as we go back into the mid to upper 30s. Heading into our Saturday, looking great as well. We're talking low 60s out there, upper 50s Sunday. Then we have those showers, even a few scattered thunderstorms coming in by Sunday around noon. Those continue into our Monday and into the first part of our Tuesday. After that, we're a little cooler heading into Thanksgiving, below normal in the mid 40s out there. And then we are keeping a close eye on a potential system by next weekend. Could bring us some showers, maybe even a light wintry mix, something we'll keep an eye on for you. Otherwise, much colder. Temperatures upper 30s, right around 40. Overnight lows falling back into the 20s by next weekend. So one way or the other, it's definitely going to feel like winter suddenly as we head into the first part of December. Well, a veteran originally from Oklahoma is planting himself in Golden City after receiving a home mortgage free. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
I knew what was going on, but it was still kind of sometimes I get a little uneasy when I get awarded or get any accolades for my military service, like most Marines do. So, you know, I know you guys worked really hard on all this, so, you know what I mean? I came in and, you know, with a thankfulness and praise.
That is Marine Corps veteran David Weibel's initial reaction to his new home in Golden City, Missouri. A warm welcome awaited Sergeant Weibel as representatives from the local, state, and federal level all gathered to congratulate him.
They don't demand a lot, and so when we can give something like this to one of them or a couple of them, it doesn't matter, that I think it's a good thing.
Sergeant Weibel spent 7 years in the Marine Corps before medically retiring in June of 2014. During that time, he was awarded many times, including the NAVCOM V Medal and the Purple Heart. And now, he's been awarded a house.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. I'm still in shock, and so I'm not you know what I mean? So I'm still taking some time to process it, and so I'm kind of never show my full deck of cards right off the first bat, I have that poker face on a little bit, but yeah, I'm sure within the next few days I'm going to be soaking it in and all that.
It may take some getting used to, but Sergeant Weibel now has a home and community to call his own. Reporting in Golden City, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Sergeant Weibel was able to receive the home by the collaboration between Wells Fargo and Military Warriors Support Foundation. Excellent for him. Very, very happy for him there. Well, coming up, all around Christmas lights are going up, and Fernanda Silva shares with us how just looking at these lights could make your spirits bright.
Clark, what are you looking at?
Tickets are available online now at kansascrossingcasino.com, your entertainment destination.
State leaders in Connecticut are trying to lower the temperature on college campuses and improve security.
On Thursday, 65 college security officials from 28 campuses met to talk about resources. Susan Reff has more.
Our communities are counting on us. They're counting on us to preserve the free speech rights of everyone on campus.
Just 4 days on the job as the head of the Connecticut State Police, Commissioner Ronell Higgins is focused on protecting free speech and the safety of students. Campus security from public and private colleges met with the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the Hate Crimes Advisory Council. Governor Lamont directed today's meeting.
I find the social media these days is an accelerant for hate. I really do. What you see on Twitter, leaving that hateful language up there, what you see in TikTok.
There have been incidents all across the country, and this week, a swastika and a racial slur were found in a resident hall bathroom at Central Connecticut State University. This is the reaction from students on what was found and how the state is trying to prevent hate speech and hate crimes. What was your reaction when you heard about the swastika found in the residence hall?
Honestly, I was pretty surprised that happened, but at the same time, it's not unusual for things to happen like that.
I think that going on in the world, like the war right now, that both Jewish and Muslim students are not in the happiest place. I'm not a part of those religious groups, but I know it's hard for both, and I'm sure that I'm sure anything helps.
It's certainly important to work on improving security at campuses, nationwide, just because of the various issues and things that have happened over the last several years, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Coming up, educators in Southwest Missouri got a look at careers that don't require a college degree.
We've got it's Friday, and we've got ourselves a cloudy but mild start to our Friday. It's going to get better, though. We'll talk about that and the forecast to get you out the door when we come back.
During the Black Friday Super Sale, Denver Mattress brand lineup, plus 6 years no interest and free shipping.
The Black Friday Super Sale, on now at Denver Mattress.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:27 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Southwest Missouri educators today got a hands-on look at the kinds of skills students will need if they want to pursue certain career choices. The Missouri Chamber of Commerce hosted its Show Me Careers educator experience at several area businesses. It's a chance for the educators to learn how they can help students pursuing careers rather than college.
We have those students that maybe financially college isn't for them, maybe academically they're not interested in college, and there are great careers that those students can find if they have the right connections. And events like this help us find those careers and that pathway for those students that don't maybe want a traditional college route.
No! 12 local educators in total win on the tours. And many businesses help fill area pantries, but one local grocery chain is making it easier for customers to donate. G&W stores across the 4 states are donating through their Hometown Helpers program. 28 locations worked with their local food pantries to understand what items are needed. Customers can buy those items to be donated directly to the pantry in their communities.
A pre-made bag that's put together for families within the community who might be struggling a little bit, that need the extra little help.
Joplin Spivey Park is now in the Christmas spirit. Volunteers came out yesterday to help set up the lights and decorations. The Downtown Joplin Alliance organized the setup efforts.
Experience creates a sense of magic and a sense of destination. So, and you know, during the winter it gets dark so early now that having something that's bright and light and a destination, even after dark, or especially after dark, you know, really does encourage people to still come out and do their shopping and be downtown all winter long, and of course hopefully do their Christmas shopping down here as well.
If you want to check out the decorations, Spivey Park is located at the corner of 4th Street and Main.
And we've got ourselves a cloudy yet mild start to the day across the area, at least for some of us, a boundary pushing through. That's what brought us the clouds. It's also what's bringing now cooler temperatures off in our northwestern counties, and we'll keep our temperatures, they aren't really going to move much today. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing those clouds, and we zoom way out. You can see those pushing off, and we are awaiting our next storm system out to the west that's going to be here this weekend, just in time to bring us some showers and thunderstorms. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line showing us those cloudy skies. So again, it's a bit of a dreary start to the day, but in all honesty, it's not too bad. Skies will begin to clear as we head through the morning and into the afternoon, and that will allow us to warm a bit above average, but not too much above average. We go low to mid 60s, maybe a couple of upper 60s out there, because we'll have that northerly wind behind this boundary that will keep our temperatures in check. We got a pretty cold night ahead of us. We've got the showers, we've got thunderstorms, and we got a system we're watching right after Thanksgiving. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. For many, the colder temperatures and the shorter days come with seasonal affective disorder. About 5% of adults in the U.S. experience SAD, but there are ways to cope with it. KOAM's Fernanda Silva spoke to a specialist and to a 4-state resident who deals with a SAD to understand how decorating for the holidays can help.
Brittany and Calvin Seifert are usually the first ones to put up their Christmas decorations in their neighborhood. When November 1st comes around, they already have all their lights and inflatable items ready to add some color and joy to their house. This year especially, bringing a much-needed extra joy.
A lot of people like to make fun of people who put up their Christmas lights this early, but I'm sorry, you never really know what they have going on, and they may need just some joy. We've gone through a lot the last year or so. This just helps a lot.
Brittany deals with seasonal affective disorder. SAD is a type of depression that happens during a certain season of the year, most often fall and winter.
People are like, well, it's just cold outside. It's just a little gloomy. You have to find, you know, happiness in other places. But sometimes it's really hard to do when it's gloomy and your body is just like, yeah, no, we're not going to be happy today.
But the holiday decorations and the feeling of nostalgia they bring help her cope with it.
Growing up, Christmas time was always our favorite, and I think every year we put it up, it just brings back those memories as a kid. And now that we've got kids, we get to pass on all the joys that we got to do, the traditions and everything that we've done with our separate families. We get to do it together as one now.
Jennifer Berry, Assistant Director of Outpatient Services at Ozark Center Hope Spring, emphasizes that as a mental health professional, she can't say Christmas lights can treat or prevent seasonal affective disorder, but they can help some.
What it can be is a motivation to get up and to get out of the house when your body and brain really just have no desire or motivation to do so.
Barry also says it is important to engage in activities that bring joy. For the Seiferts, setting up their Christmas trees and sharing their traditions with their kids. Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
You can learn about sad symptoms and treatment at our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker is here, and that can only mean one thing. It's Friday, and he's got his big 3 stories.
And we've got ourselves a cloudy but mild start to the day. Definitely feeling a little more fall-like. Take another look at that forecast when we come back.
The clock is ticking down to turkey time, and you know what's for me.
Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Hello. Last hour you couldn't talk. You did good that time.
Yeah, let's use that take for the website, please.
Okay. All right. Number 3 this week, KOAM News Now. Yeah, sure. You say that now. This was late Monday evening, a crash at 2nd and Joplin. Wow. Couldn't believe it. This vehicle went right in between the traffic signal, kind of hit that pole, and then did not hit the building, damaging it. Just scraped it a little bit at Lennon's Boutique there in downtown Joplin. The driver was a 17-year-old female. We learned a couple of days later she's now charged with a DWI, and she'll appear in adult court coming up in city court. Our number 2 story.
Yes.
Veterans, we salute you. It was a really nice parade. I thought the weather was amazing.
It was so much fun. Great turnout.
Yeah, it was really, really great. The American Legion, Post 13, they organize the parade every year, and Friends of the Community Veterans Parade.
There we are.
There's some friends right there. You go, hey, Jen. But I didn't say anything because I was recording. You know what I mean?
You had your eye on that giant cow statue.
Oh my gosh, that's a K-cow. You have this cool replica of a locomotive from World War I. That's what that actually is.
Very cool.
That carried veterans in France. The winner of the band competition, I think it was Joplin that won that. More details on our website. You can see that whole parade that we broadcast live on Facebook. And then our number 1 story, tragedy at Sam's. Sam's is a busy parking lot. Every retail store has a busy parking lot, really. The person was struck in front of the store, later died at a Joplin hospital. We learned later it was a Columbus woman, a longtime resident. We send our condolences to the family. That crash is still under investigation. And then our bonus story of the week, Merry Christmas. Let me tell you, there are a lot of lighting things happening. Last night, they lit up Spiva Park at 4th and Main in Joplin. Some people had asked me, where's that? Where's that? Well, it's right there, 4th and Main. It's always been there since, I think, the early 1960s. The land was donated by the Spiva family. There's even a statue there in the park of George Spiva. Tonight at 5:30, it's a lighting ceremony at Precious Moments in Carthage. Aww. So they're kind of amping things back up. And then tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in Bentonville, they'll light the square. 1 gazillion volts. The mayor pulls it and boom.
That is impressive, I'll tell you.
It's really neat, huh?
Yes.
You've got to go down and
I
check
will,
it out.
because that's like a winter wonderland.
Yeah, it's really nice. And so that's tomorrow night, but then the lights they'll be on until, I believe, New Year's Day. They'll keep those lights on. Pretty much everybody does. So that's your big 3, live and local. We've got a list of the parades, Christmas parades coming up too.
Yes,
on our
because we're going to be at the Christmas parade in Joplin, and we also have one in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
But I'll be there at Joplin.
I think we've got 56 on our list.
56
well,
Christmas
we
parades?
cover 20 counties, you know.
Goodness.
That's a lot of it.
That is a lot. And now you did such a good job with the Halloween decor. Are you going to be doing the same for Christmas decor?
Of course.
Oh, good. I can't wait for that. So we'll be cruising around town. All of your recommendations to make sure we get in the holiday spirit.
We'll get it for you.
Thank you, Shannon. And stick around because we got more news coming up right after this.
I'm not coming out until Casey's has thin crust.
Well, now you have. Buy 1 large single topping pizza, get the second 50% off. Only at Casey's.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:41 on this Friday morning, and we've got a boundary that has pushed through. You can see where the winds are shifting and where the temperatures have dropped a bit. 41 Iola, 42 Yates Center, 47 Chinook, 45 Fort Scott, still 54 Pittsburgh Lamar, 57 Carthage Joplin, and 58 Miami and Grove. Now, as we go through our morning, these cloudy skies will eventually go away and we'll start to clear out, but between the boundary and the clouds, temperatures don't really move all that much until we get a little more sunshine later today, and we'll go mostly sunny out there. Temperatures low to mid 60s for the most part, so with the decreasing clouds, our temperatures just a wee bit above average, but not significantly so. However, remember, last night and through this morning, the clouds acted as a thermal blanket. The warm weather we saw yesterday stayed with us a bit. That's why we had such a mild start. Tonight, not so much. We're going mostly clear skies, lows back right to normal, but it's going to feel cold compared to where we've been, with temperatures dropping back in the mid to upper 30s. We go into Sunday about noon. Here we are at 2. Showers, thunderstorms scattered across the area, and these will continue through Sunday afternoon, into the evening, overnight, into Monday morning. By Monday, they do become a bit more scattered, but still a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, and after the first half of our Tuesday, these will begin to clear out. We're cooler next week, but otherwise not too bad as we head toward Thanksgiving. We're still keeping an eye on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the potential of some showers and maybe even a wintry mix out there. So right now, as you can see, latest runs of the future track showing that kind of dying out before it gets here, but it is still something that we're going to keep a very close eye on for you, because that's, of course, a big holiday travel weekend out there. All right, we're going to have a nice Saturday, sunny, low 60s. Not bad Sunday, Monday temperature-wise. Showers, thunderstorms into Tuesday, much cooler. Highs only in the mid-40s out there. Then we watch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for some showers, maybe a light wintry mix, and much colder regardless. Temperatures upper 30s, near 40, lows back into the 20s. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. A big change is coming to iPhone messages next year. Apple says it is planning to bring some iMessage features to Android users. The tech giant says it will adopt the Rich Communication Services texting standard next year, which could enable support for encryption, read receipts, and typing indicators. The change is likely in response to pressure campaigns from some competitors and regulators. The European Union's Digital Markets Act requires major companies to make their services compatible with other platforms. Apple says despite the change, it is still sticking with the green bubbles for text messages between iPhones and Androids. And 'tis the season for flight deals, and Frontier Airlines is in the giving spirit. This holiday season, Frontier is lowering the price for its all-you-can-fly annual pass. The budget airline says a new pass will now cost $499. Those interested in the new travel perk should buy their passes by November 28th. And chatbots may soon be more accessible in schools. A Reuters report says OpenAI is looking into getting into its ChatGPT into more classrooms. The company has reportedly talked about forming a team to discuss educational applications for its product. ChatGPT has become one of the most popular chatbots in the world and has been frequently used by students to research and write papers. Since its launch, some teachers have also found ways to implement the tool instead of fully banning it from students, while others still believe chatbots in schools creates privacy issues for children. AI agriculture is a billion-dollar industry that's growing exponentially, and now lawmakers are looking at ways to make sure the benefits are felt by farmers at all levels. Fox's Even Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
Artificial intelligence has the potential to revolutionize the way we grow, harvest, and distribute our crops.
When you think about the rise of AI, farming probably isn't the first thing that comes to your mind, but it is being used for everything from crops to livestock, helping the agriculture industry cut waste and produce more food. But some lawmakers on Capitol Hill worry the high costs are putting AI and precision agriculture technology out of the reach of family farms.
We must work to ensure that its application does not force even more small and medium-sized farms out of business. Farmers should be the ones benefiting from their data.
There are currently more than 200 AI-based agriculture startups in the U.S. They're testing things like self-driving tractors, robots to harvest crops, AI-powered autonomous sprayers, and so-called machine vision to tell the difference between crops and weeds, allowing for more targeted herbicide use. But these new innovations also bring new risks, and with foreign investors buying more and more farmland in the U.S., lawmakers want to make sure the technology is safe before it goes mainstream.
America exercised a light touch approach toward regulating this budding industry. We must determine if that approach is appropriate when it comes to regulating AI and its uses in agriculture.
The AI agriculture industry was worth about $1.7 billion last year. It's expected to jump to more than $5 billion by 2028. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Baby on the way, we get to meet Ruben's wife, Kristen. It's a family affair next time.
Tamron Hall, this morning at 10, right here on Fox 14.
People in Salisbury, Maryland came together this week for the unveiling of an inspirational statue of Harriet Tubman. Tubman escaped slavery and helped others gain their freedom on the Underground Railroad.
As Kristen Clark reports, those who were there say its impact is much greater than it just being an alluring piece of art.
Voices joining together in song, flooding the streets of downtown Salisbury. Several people gathered with a camera in hand and a smile on their faces to formally welcome Wesley Wolford's Beacon of Hope statue to the area. Melva Wright says she feels a deep religious connection with Tubman and the sculpture.
She fought for freedom, and the AME Zion Church is actually known as the Freedom Church.
Nancy Mitchell, the poet laureate for the city of Salisbury, is one of many who spoke about Tubman's legacy during the event. She also hopes Tubman's fight for freedom inspires the community.
These things that hold people back, they're bondage for them. And what she does is show us how to achieve freedom.
Freedom for a city with a dark history of racial division. The statue sits just yards away from a landmark acknowledging lynchings that happened near the courthouse.
We really ought to be working together to bring about the change that is needed, especially in a community like Salisbury.
But through the irony of its placement, the statue's guiding light shone bright and stood high today, along with the hopes of everyone there to celebrate.
He said, you know, I'll either die trying, or I'll die and I'm not giving up. So I think that that's what she is for us. And she inspires us.
A statue bringing the community together.
Chris, what's she holding in her hand?
I couldn't tell, unfortunately, from the video.
I'm going to have to Google that.
Still a very unique statue and a very special place.
Absolutely.
And we've got a relatively special forecast. Every forecast is special, though, right? We've got a cloudy start to the day out there. Our Cornell camera complex. I cannot say this morning. Our camera on the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. That's where it is, that's what it is, and it is showing this cloudy sky. As I say, usually we point it toward the sunrise, but again, no sunrise to see out there this morning. Cloudy skies from the MoDOT camera 32nd and range line as well. However, the clouds won't stick around forever, but they're going to be out there for the first portion of our morning. Cloudy, 57 in Joplin, 53 in Pittsburgh, so thanks to the clouds, a relatively mild start to the day. But as I mentioned, they don't stick around forever. They will eventually go on about their way, and we'll begin to clear as we head into the afternoon and evening with temperatures right in the low to mid 60s out there, so just a little above average, not too bad. However, without the clouds tonight means we are going to be a bit colder. We'll take another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Race Intels, including the Purple Heart and Good Conduct Medal. We are proud to salute Benjamin Smith, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A former Carthage City employee was out on bond last night facing charges of stealing and money laundering. Court documents filed yesterday in Jasper County Court reveal that Mark Peterson is accused of taking more than $142,000 from the Carthage golf course. An independent accounting firm completed a forensic audit into the missing money. Court documents state that the money should have been deposited into city bank accounts by Peterson, but no documentation was provided. A West Mineral, Kansas woman is dead after a three-vehicle crash on State Highway 7 yesterday morning. It happened just before 4 Thursday morning on a quarter of a mile north of the intersection of Highway 7 and 530 Avenue north of Cherokee. Authorities say a truck towing a camper crossed the center line and hit an SUV head-on. Shortly thereafter, that SUV in the middle of the highway was hit by a semi. The driver of the SUV, 66-year-old Melinda Burbage, was killed. The driver and passenger of the truck were both airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries, and the driver of the semi was not injured. When Joplin police investigated a report of gunshots Wednesday night, they found a suspect passed out in a car. Police received a report that a person had fired a gun near 14th and Jackson and got a vehicle description. A few hours later, police noticed what appeared to be the car in a parking lot on the corner of 17th and South Main. Officers surrounded the car and used a bullhorn to demand the occupants get out. After some time, one person did. Then officers approached the car and found two others passed out inside. Police tell us it appeared all three were under the influence. Police arrested one male for unlawful use of a weapon related to the gunfire earlier on South Jackson.
All right, skies clearing for us today, going sunny by the afternoon. Highs for the most part, low to mid 60s, but a couple upper 60s possible. Clear skies through the evening, falling through the 40s. With clear skies, it's going to be cold, but about average tonight as we fall back into the mid to upper 30s. We've got a pretty nice Saturday out there, sunny, low 60s, and then we'll see showers and thunderstorms building in Sunday, Monday into the first part of our Tuesday. Temperatures get chilly, though, as we head toward Thanksgiving, below average, only in the mid 40s.
All right. Pretty good weather.
For the most part. And of course, we're still watching that system by next weekend. There's already been about 5 different changes as to what's going to happen next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's something we'll watch closely as we get closer, but just to keep on your radar, no pun intended, for your holiday travel plans, though. So
that's important. Yes, please do keep us up to date.
Because with holiday travel, we've got this is bad timing if this thing does take shape. So.
Or is it?
It may or may not. That's what we're here to find out. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back today with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great weekend, 4 States.